Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, I've got a wild story to share with you all today, and trust me, it's one you're going to want to hear. Grab your favorite snack, maybe a cozy blanket, and definitely keep the lights on for this one. Alright, so this all happened a couple of weeks ago when I was on a road trip to visit some friends in another state. I'd been driving for hours, and honestly, I was exhausted. The sky started turning dark, and before I knew it, a massive thunderstorm rolled in. We're talking torrential rain, thunder booming, lightning flashing, the whole works. I'm driving down this lonely stretch of road, and my GPS decides to lose signal. Perfect timing, right? So there I am, squinting through the rain, trying to see where I'm going, and just hoping I'd find somewhere to stay for the night. Then, out of nowhere, I see this dimly lit sign flickering up ahead. As I get closer, I could just make out the words, Rosewood Hotel, illuminated in neon letters, some of which were burnt out. It looked kind of old-fashioned, but also a bit eerie. But at that point, I was so tired that I was like, a bed is a bed. The hotel is nestled deep within this thick forest, and it's literally the only building I've seen for miles. There's no town, no houses, nothing, just trees and darkness. But I convinced myself that it's better than sleeping in my car during a storm. As I pull into the gravel driveway, lightning flashes and illuminates the hotel's exterior. It's this grand old Victorian building with turrets and balconies, but the windows are dark, and some shutters are hanging off their hinges. It should have been charming, but instead, it felt off. If only I had known what awaited me inside. But of course, in my tired state, I ignored all the warning signs. I dashed from my car to the hotel's front entrance, getting soaked despite my jacket. The heavy wooden doors creak as I push them open, and I step into the lobby. The first thing that hits me is the smell, a mix of dust, old wood, and something I can't quite place. The lighting is dim, with just a few wall sconces casting long shadows. The decor is straight out of another century, faded floral wallpaper, antique furniture, and that ever-present ticking of a grandfather clock somewhere in the corner. "Hello," I call out, my voice echoing slightly. At first, there's no response. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, a man appears behind the reception desk. He's tall, thin, with slicked back hair, and he's wearing an outdated uniform that looks like it hasn't been cleaned in a while. "Good evening," he says in a monotone voice, not quite meeting my eyes. "Hi, I'd like a room for the night, please," I reply, trying to sound cheerful but feeling a bit uneasy. He pulls out this massive leather-bound ledger instead of a computer. "Name?" he asks. I give him my name, and he starts writing it down with an old-fashioned quill pen. "Yes, you heard that right, a quill pen. Traveling alone?" he inquires, his eyes briefly flicking up to meet mine. Yeah," I answer hesitantly. "Do you have any next of kin we should notify in case of an emergency?" he continues, not missing a beat. "What kind of question is that?" I laugh nervously. "Standard procedure," he replies, expressionless. At this point, every horror movie I've ever seen is screaming at me to run, but I push the feeling aside. He hands me an old brass key with the number 13 etched into it. Of course, it's room 13. "Lucky me. Your room is on the second floor, at the end of the hall," he says. "Thanks," I mutter, picking up my bag and heading toward the staircase. As I walk away, I swear I can feel his eyes on me, but when I glance back, he's gone. The staircase is this grand, sweeping thing with a faded red carpet that's worn thin in places. Each step creaks loudly, and I can't help but feel like I'm disturbing the silence with every move. The hallway on the second floor is lined with old portraits. You know the ones, stern-looking people from centuries past, eyes that seem to follow you as you walk by. I try to avoid looking at them, but it's almost impossible. I reach room 13 and insert the heavy key into the lock. The door opens with a groan, and I step inside. The room is, well, it's seen better days. The wallpaper is peeling, the bed is this massive four-poster with moth-eaten curtains, and there's a chill in the air that makes me shiver. I try to find a thermostat or radiator. Nothing. I set my bag down and notice a faint scent. It's musty, but there's also this underlying aroma of lavender? It's oddly comforting yet unsettling at the same time. Then I spot a small wooden box on the dresser. Curious, I open it to find an old locket. Inside is a sepia-toned photo of a woman who looks strangely familiar. I chalk it up to my tired mind playing tricks on me. I decide to take a hot shower to warm up. The bathroom is small, with a clawfoot tub and a sink with tarnished fixtures. The water takes forever to heat up, and when it does, it's scalding hot with no in-between. After my shower, I feel a bit better. I slip into bed, pulling the heavy covers over me. As I start to drift off, I hear it, a faint whisper. Help me. My eyes snap open. Hello, I call out. Silence. Great, now I'm hearing things, I mutter. I turn over and try to sleep, but the uneasy feeling won't go away. Just as I start to drift off again, a loud bang jolts me awake. It sounded like it came from the room next door. I sit up, heart pounding. Is someone there? No response. I decide to call the front desk. I pick up the old rotary phone next to the bed and dial 0. Instead of a dial tone, all I hear is static mixed with faint whispers. Okay, this is getting too weird, I say out loud. I grab my cell phone. Still no signal, and now it's down to 10% battery, even though it was fully charged earlier. Figures. Then I hear footsteps in the hallway. Slow, deliberate. They stopped right outside my door. Who's there? I shout. Silence. I gather some courage and decide to check. I open the door, and there's no one in sight. The hallway is empty, but I notice that the portraits on the walls are different. The faces have changed expressions, now looking sad or frightened. I shake my head. I'm just tired. This is all in my head. I go back inside, but sleep is the last thing on my mind now. Objects in the room seem to have moved. My bag is now on the other side of the room. The locket I found earlier is open on the bedside table, even though I remember closing it. Then, the TV turns on by itself, displaying static. The volume increases gradually until it's blaring. I try to turn it off, but the remote doesn't work. I end up unplugging it from the wall. That's it. I'm out of here, I declare. I decide to go downstairs and check out, storm or no storm. As I make my way down the hallway, I notice that it's longer than before. Doors that I don't remember seeing are now lining the corridor. One door at the far end is slightly open, a dim light spilling out. Against my better judgment, I head towards it. Inside, I find what looks like an old office or study. Dusty books line the shelves, and there's a desk with papers scattered all over. I pick up one of the papers. It's a newspaper clipping from decades ago. The headline reads, "Local woman disappears at Rosewood Hotel." There's a photo, and the woman looks just like the one in the locket. Suddenly, pieces start connecting. I find more articles. Stories of guests disappearing, odd occurrences, rumors of the hotel being haunted. Great, I've checked into a haunted hotel. Just my luck. I sigh. Then I spot a journal. It's the diary of the woman in the locket. Her name was Evelyn. Her last entry talks about being trapped, about the hotel feeding off souls. A chill runs down my spine. As I'm reading, the door slams shut. I rush over and try to open it. It's locked. Hello? Is anyone there? I shout, panic rising. The lights flicker, and shadows seem to move around me. I hear that whisper again, louder this time. Join us. Nope, not happening. I back away, searching for another exit. A figure appears, a translucent form of Evelyn. You have to destroy the key, she says urgently. What? How? Burn it, she replies before fading away. I remember the key in my pocket. Pulling it out, I see it's glowing faintly. I need to find a way to destroy it. I spot a fireplace in the corner of the room. Without thinking twice, I throw some papers in to start a fire and toss the key in. As it melts, the building starts to shake. The walls crack, and I hear wailing sounds echoing throughout. I manage to get the door open and sprint down the hallway, which is now warping and twisting. I reach the main staircase and see the front door wide open. I don't question it. I just run. As I burst outside, the storm has stopped. The sky is starting to lighten with the first hints of dawn. I turn back, expecting to see the hotel, but there's nothing there. Just an empty plot of land with overgrown grass and the remnants of a foundation. Breathing heavily, I make my way back to my car, which is miraculously parked nearby. I jump in and speed off, not daring to look back. Later that day, I reach a small town and go straight to the police station. I tell them everything. They give me sympathetic looks, but I can tell they don't believe me. One officer mentions that there used to be a hotel out there, but it burned down over 50 years ago. I show them the locket I somehow still have as proof, but they just suggest I get some rest. So yeah, that was my night at the not-so-lovely Rosewood Hotel. I still don't know exactly what happened. Was it a dream? A hallucination? All I know is that it felt real, and I don't plan on taking any lonely detours again anytime soon. If any of you have had weird experiences like this, please share them in the comments below. Maybe together we can figure out what's going on out there. Thanks for sticking around and listening to my crazy story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want more tales from my misadventures. Until next time, stay safe and maybe avoid creepy old hotels in the middle of nowhere.